everyone, welcome back. So here we are sailing into week 5 of Voyage 12. This voyage will be a 12-week voyage, so we have into the 5th week, so we got 7 weeks to go. We start off at $9,200, and that entails a vet bill for $200, furnace repair for $780, and then a Discover One balance transfer due on June 13th for $8,220. And then joining us this week is 5 octopuses. And right now our weather is doing absolutely beautiful. It's acting like a spring should. It's nice and cool and beautiful. Is everyone else experiencing a nice spring also? But we are having more allergies with all the buds from the trees and the flowers. But that should be over in about a week or two when all that stuff is full and blooming. The finances were pretty quiet this week. So how is everyone else doing with their finances? I hope everything is going well. And so for this one, we'll start off with line of credit 1. Last week we ended at $10,364.41. We did take out $767, and that's for Discover One for $685, the heat bill for $65 each week, and the vet bill for $17, which is on the Citibank card. And then after we took out the $767, the balance was $11,131.41, making available $868.59. And then the activity on checking, as of April 25th, we did a transfer from line of credit 1 into checking. We were at $0 last week, so now we're at $767. And then Discover One payment for $685 brought that to $82. The heat payment for $65 brought it to $17. And then that vet bill to Citibank brought that down to $17. So that was now at $0. We then look at what's going on with the Visa. We start off with $6,305.87. We did a payment of $1,494, and of that, $13.18 went to interest, and that $14.94 went to principal, bringing it down to $4,825.05. So available in Visa is $2,174.95, and the available amount is where we did some payment parking with Discover One for April 18th for $685, and the April 25th payment for Discover One is also in this available amount, along with the mortgage payment we're going to make on May 1st. And what we're trying to do is keep the Visa at a lower balance. We want to keep it at $4,900 or lower. That way our ratios with the credit cards stays lower, and we can get our credit score to stay lower when it cycles out at the end of the month. And then when it cycles out, we'll go ahead and put these items on Discover One. And currently there's Discover One has $290, and that's due on May 8th. So then when we do this 2 payments, and then I believe on May 2nd, we'll also have $685 to apply. So it'll be more than enough to cover that $290. Currently for the revolving credit, or that tiny loan, we had no activity this week. It started off at $424.08 and ended at $424.08, with $75.92 being available on that. We then go into activity on Citibank, where we did a couple grocery items, one for $118.59, another for $84.37. So we start off at $538.76, and when you add these 2 items, we're up to $741.72 on Citibank. American Express, we start off at $399.16. We did 2 payments, actually 2 gas ups, one for $36.59, another for $36.35. That brings the balance up to $472.10. And then we still have that $44.50 on Target. And then what will happen is we'll start making payments towards this as soon as we have next week's. I think next week we're going to make sure we have enough to pay all the monthly bills, and then we'll start applying more money to the Citibank and American Express to get those balances down again. And then with Discover One for week 5, we are at 5,480. And then taking off at 685 brings us to $4,795. And then with the furnace, it was at 520. After a payment of 65, that brings it to $455. And then the vet bill gets another 17 applied to that. So last week is at 132. Subtract 17, we're at 115 now. And then we did, once again, $767 was applied towards debt this week. And then another thing I'm going to include is the credit available. So with all the journeys we've done, this shows where we have funds we can tap into if needed. Right now with Visa, there is a limit of $7,000 and the balance is $4,825.05. So available is $2,174.95. We have a big Citibank that's at $18,000. We're only using $6,130 of that. So available is $11,870. Discover 2 has a credit limit of $18,500, and we're using $8,134 of that balance, bringing $10,366 as the available amount. Then for Discover 1, the limit is $20,000, and then we are using $14,485 of that. So currently there's $5,515 available. And then next week it'll change where we'll pretty much send the Visa available to the Discover 1 to bring that down. So combined credit available is $29,925.95. I thought it would probably be good to kind of show you as we're paying down these voyages. This is where the cash, not exactly the cash flow, but this is where the cushion's at too. But what we're trying to do is get all the credit cards paid off first, and then we can work in on getting the lines and loans paid off after that. So I just wanted to show you where we're at as far as credit being available, and I'm hoping not to have to tap into that. And then we have our captain's log. So we once again did $767 of debt elimination, and then we were at $6,132. So after the 767, we now have $5,365 to pay. And then what's been paid off, we have, last week we had $3,068, and then the 767 added means we've paid off $3,835 on this voyage. And that gives us the grand total of, so we have $49,337.87, 767 more of debt paid off. Oh, we've just hit $50,104.87. So I've hit another milestone where we've paid off $50,000. And then that was on April 25th. And then we had hit the $25,000 way back on August 2nd of 24. So now we're at April 25th of 25, and we've eliminated another $25,000. So that's a neat milestone. I didn't even realize at the time that we were going to hit that today. So let me know if you have any questions or comments. Just put those down below. Please like and subscribe to follow my journey. And since we are almost done with the month of April, I'll be having the month of April out probably, I don't know if I'll get it done next week, because I believe the 1st is on a Thursday. So it'll probably be out the following week for the month tallies of what the new balances are on everything. And then next week we'll have week 6 of the journey. And then see, I think that's it for now. So I will talk to you again in the next video, which should be next week when we're on week 6. And hopefully we will once again get another $767 wiped out. But thank you so much for joining me. Bye.